Recently, we had a chance to sit down with Emily and Clark from Emily and Clark's Adventures. We had some questions for them about their upcoming trip, and I think you'll see why we find them so inspiring.
Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Clark.
We're a baby boomer and a millennial, 23 years apart but with lots in common.
Most importantly, we both aspire to live a conscious, intentional life full of adventure.
Temptress is a 50-year-old fiberglass sailboat I've owned for 30 years. I've had her for 30 years because I haven't found a better boat. Of course, better is defined differently by different people. She's rather heavy, and she can carry a lot of weight, and she's comfortable at sea. She's also incredibly fast, which is surprising. But she has a centerboard that goes down about 10 feet, and she can carry a lot of sail in heavy conditions. I've passed catamarans on beam reaches in the trade winds. So I like this boat. And I've had her for so long that she's comfortable for me.
Most of the time, we live aboard our antique sailboat, Temptress. We build, repair, and maintain all of the boat systems ourselves.
So it's unique, and we do a lot of building and fixing things just in custom ways to fit the boat. It's kind of like having a really old house. It needs a lot of maintenance and a lot of creativity sometimes to get it to work right, take care of leaks and creaks. And
So come along with us.
So we're getting ready to go out for 3, 4, 5 years on the boat. We've gone out, you've been out for quite a while, but since we met, we've gone out for about a year at a time for several years, and this is the first year we're going out without a return date. So we're packing things up, and we have sort of an idea of where we're going to go. We're going to go through the Bahamas. We want to go to Panama and spend some time there. You want to see Colombia because it wasn't safe last time you were down there, but we could leave and pick a totally different direction too.
Could go around the world.
And for us, this trip isn't really about going to a particular place. It's just about going out and being and living an intentional life and enjoying life and meeting people and having adventures, and that in itself is a destination.
To us, this means appreciating and understanding all the things that are connected to our lives.
This means living on purpose, not by accident. It means making choices, being self-sufficient, learning, and working hard.
It means traveling, connecting with other people, and pursuing great life experiences.
It's a different style. When I went out the first time, I had a set intention. I was going to set a world record. I retired quite young, so I got on the boat with the idea of being the slowest man to ever sail around the world. Now, if you want to set a record to be the fastest guy, you just buy, throw money at it and buy a fast boat and take a shot at it. But it takes dedication to be the slowest man. So I was going to take off at 36 and try to finish the lap by 80 or something like that. That didn't work out, ended up not doing that. And then I had another itinerary that we followed. But now I've been to a lot of these places, and I've been out cruising, and I know what the feeling of cruising is like, and I know how to live the life, and I know what planning I need to do and what planning I don't need to do. And those are things you don't find in the books. So we're going south. And I know that's safe just to plan south. I mean, it's not like we're being stupid about it. We will cross a certain line before hurricane season. We've got a place, a hunk of the world where we have to deal with the intertropical convergence zone. So there's thunderstorms, but I've dealt with those and I know it's there. So it's not like it's a scary place. So it's kind of like going out into your backyard as opposed to going off into the forest where there might be bears.
Well, financially, we've done a lot of prep. We are on a budget, and when we're out there, we found we spend between $500 and $1,000 a month, which is not much compared to what we spend when we're back here in the United States. And of course, we've got money saved up, so if something happens or we lose a piece of equipment, we have money. It's not like we're just out there living, paycheck to paycheck or just in a bank account that's depleting. We've done a lot of financial planning to put ourselves in basically retirement mode and on a limited income. So there's that aspect of it. There's the actual cargo and the stuff that we bring, because unlike backpacking or RVing, where you can just kind of stop along the road and get provisions, which we can do some of that.
For food we can.
For food we can, but like parts and there's so much stuff. We kind of treat the boat like a spaceship. Like we need to be self-contained, have all the tools we need, have all the parts we need. There's food everywhere, there's people, so we can get food. We do a lot of food provisioning, but it's also about, you know, we don't have Amazon where we can just click and get something to our doorstep the next day. So we take on a lot of stuff, so that's another part of it.
My other two big cruises, the ones that took multiple years, when I got out there, every time the only thing I was really sad about or wish I would have done differently in the prep, it's strange because we talk about doing the life cheaply. I wish I had spent more money before I went, because things are cheaper here, things are easier here. It's just so difficult in Central America to get a part in, or if you want to do a project. So right now we're just racking our brains thinking, what would we want for the next 5 years that's reasonably sized that we can carry, and then we order on Amazon and it's here the next day, and it's just a weird, it's like Emily said, it's like we're preparing for a space mission. There's just not going to be a hardware store out there. And I like to spend a lot of time at some little atoll where the fish has never seen a person before, and just hang out there and not say, well, we only have enough groceries for a week. No, we can spend months. I've gone 3 months without a grocery store.
Yeah, we have probably a year's worth of food on the boat. If we had no other groceries, we could just eat our pile of food down.
And we don't eat fish.
Yeah, we don't eat fish, which would make it easier. A lot of people do eat, you know, catch and eat fish out there, so that's a kind of never-ending supply.
One of the questions we get a lot is, how do you handle being away from family and friends this long? Well, I only felt like it was fair that I ask Emily and Clark that question, but turned out the answer was a little bit sad. Sorry.
No, that's kind of a thing. I have a 96-year-old living grandmother who actually lives in an apartment I built for her in this house, and she still lives independently. I was telling her the story of what we were going to do when we took off for the Bahamas cruise. We were going to just continue from the Bahamas. And she got a little teary-eyed and said, I'll never see you again. You know, statistically, she's right. If we take off for 5 years, she probably won't make that long. So we actually stayed the summer in the Bahamas and flew back so we could visit. And now we're back here again because of a hurricane season and a refit. But that changed our plans a bit.
And I think, I just have to talk about grandma.
Sorry.
Emily loves my grandma.
I do.
Oh, I
Damn
take that topic. I take it back. I take it back.
You do think about friends differently. Like here, at least, I think people hang out with their friends a lot less in the United States than they used to, because we're all just so connected. You know, you can talk to people on your phone, on Facebook, without having to see people in person. But, you know, typically you think of land life and you have a few friends that you kind of see. You kind of spend time in each other's world. And I think when you're out sailing, you get used to this attitude where you put down your anchor, somebody else comes, puts down their anchor, and without a second thought, you go over and you say hi, and you say, you know, who are you, what's your story, and sometimes, you know, they turn out to be great people, sometimes you have nothing in common, or they kind of just don't want to be bothered, and that's cool too. But sometimes you make these really cool friendships that last like 2 days, and then they're gone. And maybe we friend them on Facebook and keep up with them. We have a few friends like that. But you help each other out freely, you invite people over for dinner freely, and there's just kind of this big karma cornucopia out there that people give and take. And you're nice to other people because other people are nice to you. And the farther out you go, the more true that is. Work and everything.
You go off cruising, first off, the Venn diagram of who's out there. I mean, think about it. These are people that got their act together and were able to take some time off and retire early, so they had something on the ball. They had an adventurous spirit enough to want to get on a sailboat and go out there, which are the kinds of people we like. So virtually half the people out there have the potential to be our friends. You don't see somebody that's just like going to work at McDonald's their whole life. It just doesn't happen. And then on top of that, what was my other point? I just kind of preface to, I'm sorry, that's going to have to be cut. The people you meet, oh, on top of that, they have time because they just got lifted out of their life too. So if they're, like, I'm not terribly gregarious, and I get out there and someone will latch onto me and do the work of being my friend. And I've learned so much social skills because of that. But if I was back here, that gregarious person, because he is, has a full load of friends already, and I would be off the radar. So I find that I make better, intimate friendships and relationships when I'm out there than I'm here. So if you're thinking about the life, and I'm sure cruising on land is the same thing, because it's that same dynamic. Don't worry about leaving your friends. You will make more as you go.
So a wise person told me once, you have to figure out 3 questions in life, and you have to do them in the right order. You have to figure out, who am I, where am I going, and who do I want to bring with me? And if you jump right to who your friends are without first identifying like who you are and the life you want to live, it's going to be hard to do those first 2 things. And so if you know who you are and you know why you're traveling and you know where you're going and how you're going to go there, you will find people to bring with you. You will find the right people out there.
I can see people saying 2 things about this, and like different people. I can see some people saying, this is the adventure of a lifetime, and I can see this other group of people saying, this is the riskiest thing you could possibly do. Mm-hmm. How do you guys, do you find there's a balance? Your tolerance to risk versus your thirst for adventure? Is there kind of a line that you have there?
It is about risk tolerance. I mean, you can sit on a couch and eat soup with a dull spoon, but is that a life? You got to have a little bit of risk to just keep the adrenaline going. We come back and life gets so easy, and we realize that we're out there, we're a little on edge all the time because we have to worry about the boat dragging and storms and be very aware of our environment. And then there's the crime issue of where we are and where we aren't, though I'm very concerned when I'm in Orlando, I think more so than most of the places I've been to. A life without risk is, it's this fantasy that we have now in the States where nobody can have any risk whatsoever, and the children have to be all protected by barbed wire around the schools, and it's bullshit. It's just bullshit. Life is risk. You're going to have some. The chances of actually getting hurt on some of these risks, I mean, if you can be a fool and you can get yourself hurt, but if you take reasonable precautions and you think things through, you're going to be fine. Understanding risk. Well, practice with risk by making some money with your money, and it'll prepare you for, okay, I had a little loss, but I got over it, and then things got better. It's the same analogy when you're out there. You blow out a tire or something, and you go, I had to hike a long way and get some help, and then we were okay, and now it's a great story. It's just life. Now, you can have the best intentions in the world, I know about sailing, so I'm going to talk about sailing, to do your mission. And you can get the money together, and you buy the boat, and you spend years setting up the boat, but the boat's not quite ready yet. So you spend some more years setting up the boat. Then you go off cruising, and you come down the intercoastal, because that's like trivial. You're driving down a ditch. You got to cross the Gulf Stream, and you find that kind of terrifying. So you just don't do it. And then the season is going away. It's getting near hurricane season, and someone says, well, you can go down to wherever, and places we call chicken harbors. And you go there, and you end up just living your whole life like in the United States, and you've never really gone anywhere because you couldn't accept the risk of making a 70-mile trip. It sounds ridiculous, and nobody that's listening to this will think that's them. But if you go to places like Marathon, you will find loads and loads and loads of boats. They're all set up for cruising that have never cruised. And they're living on the boat, and they're having a good life. But that wasn't the life that they were telling stories about when they were in Boston. Well, Emily just built the coolest dinghy, a sailing dinghy. So we're going to have 2 small boats on the boat, and the one she built is hers. She can sail it, she can row it, and she has an electric motor on it. And she's got videos on how to build it. They're not all done yet, but they're pretty cool.
It's been quite a project, and Clark builds everything. He's basically rebuilt the whole boat. Systems, he's designed and he's building a new air conditioning system. He built the wind generator. He built an arch to hold more solar panels for our power. But we're always building, we're always tinkering, we're always fixing. That's a big part of how we can afford to live this life and do it frugally.
And live well.
And live well, yeah.
We have like every system a boat could ever have, but very few of them are bought at a boat hardware store. They were just stuff that I built.
I think a lot of people who haven't gone cruising or don't understand the boat life would come aboard our boat and say, oh, like, it smells like a boat and it's, you know, got some leaks and, you know, some of the varnish is peeling in places, but it has everything we need to survive, to take care of us and support us. And compare that to, you know, a fancy molded catamaran that's just kind of a base and doesn't have all those systems. One might look like it's more comfortable, it might be the place you'd want to stay if you know, took your friends out for the weekend, but we've got the meat of what
infrastructure
we need.
And systems,
Yeah.
and we know how it works. So the guy on the fancy molded catamaran is like,
he's the one on the radio saying,
asking
I
me
need someone to help with my solar panel installation or whatever, and Clark will respond and go help them out.
yeah. It's if you build it yourself and you set it up yourself and you put thought into it, you're not going to need to go to somebody to help you fix it, of course, because you know it. I surprised myself to save money once when I was like 27. I only had 1 spool of white wire, and I installed this fairly complicated system with all white wires. And I think they had some labels, but over the years the little tape had come off and stuff. I had to fix it recently, and I realized I kind of knew where all those white wires went. It's not like I bought it. I had to think through every wire run. I had to decide what signals I needed, and even though they were all white, it's like, well, obviously that one goes to the shunt sensor and that one goes to the whatever. And I help someone else with their boat, and of course every wire I have to identify and figure out what it is in some way. But I know Temptress so well. I could fix her hanging upside down in the dark at sea, and I've had to. Knowing when to go is a big question. It kind of goes back to the chicken harbor thing. You're going to find lots of people sitting on bar stools talking about how they're going to go. Go. You'll never be ready. The boat will never be ready. Just go as soon as you can go. The longer you stay on land, a couple things are going to happen. You're saying you've got some attachments, and as soon as they're done, you're going to go. Well, you're going to build more attachments. You're going to get more comfortable and complacent in your life, and you're going to get old. And the older you get, the more it hurts to do stuff. You get out there and you keep doing it. It will keep you young. I met a couple, and I think at the time they were 78, and they were actively cruising. I met them down in Honduras. But when you get these intimate friends, so we're having this conversation about their age and how they deal with it. And they had realized that they can't go home and visit family. If they go home and spend a month sitting on a couch, they're right on the edge of being able to do this safely. If they lose the muscle tone that they would lose from coming back here and having a cushy life, they won't be able to go back. Go out there, live this life. You owe yourself this experience. If you do it for 5 years and you don't like it, you do it for 1 year and you don't like it, you've done it.
And we promise to be authentic, to be ourselves, to be honest about the good, the bad, and the ugly of what living aboard a boat means.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. That really helps us grow. We want to create a community of family, friends, and viewers interested in what we have to offer. So please like, share, and comment on our videos to tell us what you'd like to see.
Thanks for your support and for coming along on our adventure.